Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of Football Brew. And tonight we'll talk about the upcoming Pinatar Cup. Joining me tonight is Ken Garcia. You know him. I call him the best friend, best friend of the pod. And has only been happy to do this with me for the past Ken, 11 months na. Mag 1 year na tayo next month. And for the first time, I recently discovered his podcast through Ken, the host of the Kali Adriatico podcast, and he's also a writer like Ken. Said Sir Edrica, welcome. Guys,
Hi.
thank you for your time for tonight. So first off, what is the Pinatar Cup? So it's one of those women's football tournaments held during the FIFA international break this month and early March. So there's a She Believes Cup, Cyprus Cup, Turkish Women's Cup, there's Algarve Cup, and the Arnold Clark Cup, and then the one in France, Tournoi de France. But the most popular would be Algarve Cup. So the Pinatar Cup, like most of those tournaments, is a round robin competition in San Pedro del Pinatar in Spain, hence Pinatar Cup. It only started in 2020, and the current champions are Belgium, who will not be competing in the Pinatar Cup this year, but instead they joined the Arnold Clark Cup in the UK. So on the first year, the champions were Scotland, Iceland were the runners up, and last year, Wales ended in fourth place. So personally, I'm excited. It's a big deal for us. We're competing against some of the best teams in Europe, and we're the only Asian country uh, in this tournament, and the only Asian countries who are competing in these big tournaments are Korea Republic and Japan. So there's a good litmus test to see how we go against these teams who play similarly to the teams that we're facing in the World Cup. How do you guys feel about the Filipinas competing in the Pinatar Cup? Let's start with you, Ket, para hindi naman mabigla si Sen.
Well, first of all, good evening to our fellow listeners and good evening, Ben and Sid. We've always talked about having a very good preparation path for the Filipinas ever since they qualified to the Women's World Cup last year. And joining this tournament, it's like a very big milestone for the program. Um, As it's not I don't only look at it as a um preparation eh. It's like we're slowly but surely getting the respect of the whole world when it comes to women's football. Now they know that there's a very good Philippine women's national team that is emerging, and they know that the Filipinas can play and provide competitive football because we know na it's not easy to be invited in these tournaments unless the organizers know na you're a very good team. And through the course of last year, that's what the Filipinas provided. Some wins, some draws, some close defeats. But overall, it was a very competitive year for the Filipinas. And now, this is probably the most high-profile cup, yung invitational cup, most high-profile invitational cup that the Filipinas will be competing in. And I'm just proud of the ladies. Um, parang dati, we just watch some of those players that will be competing on other teams. We watch them in the UEFA Women's Champions League, in the Women's Super League. Now, the Filipinas will have a very uh, big opportunity to face them, di ba? In the field. And I couldn't ask for a better preparation for our ladies. If anything, this will be like the most important audition for the other players who aim to make the final squad for New Zealand. So they will approach this tournament very seriously. And uh, I'm just excited. Not really thinking about results so far. It's just I'll just wait for the first match to kick off, and then Tsaka lang siguro magka-come up sana, "Wow, we're in the Pinatar Cup." Oh, gano'n.
I feel about the Filipinas competing in the Pinatar Cup. Well, as I'm just gonna echo Kent's statement. Uh, by virtue of us qualifying for the World Cup, we can be considered as one of the best teams already in the world when it comes to the women's game. So being invited to this sort of prestigious invitational cup is just icing on the cake for the year that the Filipinas had. Like if I'm not mistaken, the Filipinas were really on a roll last year. I think they had like 16 wins and just 7 losses. And their worst win, the only time they lost by multiple goals was against Thailand. The 3-0 loss to Thailand. But everything else was like they steamrolled everybody. So yeah, I think this is gonna be a good test for them. And it's gonna give Coach Allen an idea on where they stand before before the big dance. So they're gonna, it's a great chance for the coaching staff of the Filipinas to check where they are right now when it comes to competing against the best, against the world. Yeah.
Thank you, said. So, let's talk about the roster, no? So, some of the regular faces in the previous camps are not included in this tournament, like Tyre Shelton, Chantal Maniti. Tama ba? Ken, silang dalawa lang, no? Parang wala na to. Yeah. So some people are looking for Kaya Hota, but it looks like, she's been called up for the U20s training camp anyway. So cuts will be inevitable moving forward, as heartbreaking as it is. New name on the list is Reina Gabriel, plays for Cornelio. So from what I've seen, she's fast. I heard that she's injured. I've seen her training really hard as well. But Cornelio uploaded training photos maybe less than 24 hours ago, and she's in it. So I personally don't know if she'll make it to camp, because again, there's no official word if she's really injured or not. So we'll see. Are you guys happy with the roster? Is there a particular player that you wish should have been a part of the squad, or any other reinforcements that you have in mind? Kent, you want to start?
Well, surprisingly, I don't really have, in terms of notable cuts, there's nothing. Um, my initial reaction upon the roster is, this is probably the lineup that will possibly bring to New Zealand for the Women's World Cup. That's what I'm thinking of. Barring player injuries, or like if Coach Allen really is bent into bringing in a player that he believes that can contribute, uh or something, and I mean, unless there's something drastic, like let's say Angie Bird completes her papers and gets the passport, completes the switch, she'll be in that lineup. Gonna be a tough decision again for Coach Allen. Who will he remove from that final lineup? But aside from that circumstance, I don't really think that there will be a big change to the lineup. No notable cuts. We've noticed it since last year. Uh, she For important tournaments or important matches, high profile friendlies, Coach Allen is trying to be more pragmatic, prioritizing the chemistry. Well, that's the most important factor heading into the Women's World Cup, the familiarity of these players into each other. They've been playing, I think the main core of this lineup has been playing since the training camp for the Women's Asian Cup last year. So they don't want to disrupt that chemistry. So for me, no notable, I'm pretty satisfied with the roster. It's just more about, will Coach Allen implement some experiments? I don't know. We've seen it last year in those training camps in Chile and Costa Rica. So more on a tactical standpoint, yung hinahanap ko na baka may surprise. But in the roster, no surprises. Uh, all serious stuff there. It's good.
Thanks, Ken. How about you, Said? Are you happy with the roster? Anything, any other player that you have in mind that should be there or
Uh,
should not be there?
well, I just started following the Filipinas this year. So looking at their lineup, I think this has been the first choice. Well, let's start defensively. I think this has been the first choice of Coach Allen since the year started. Uh, you know, uh, uh, Sophia Harrison, Haley Long, Eva, and Dominic Randall. I think the only missing one is, as you said, is Chantel, and I think Tara Shelton. I think she just completed the move abroad, so maybe that's a reason why she's not here, or I don't know. And then possibly Angela Beard, if that's just like what Kent said, if she gets her paper sorted. But all in all, I think that's a good problem for Coach Allen to have. The depth of the choices that he has to make. It's like parang ano in Tagalog pa walang tapon eh. So kahit sinong i-plug in mo diyan can possibly do the role for the team. Pero my only concern is I think in defense especially, we have like a few players that are quite inexperienced when it comes to the national team. Especially Maya Maya Alcantara, Alicia Barker, and Reina Bonta, who all have less than 10 caps for the national team. So I guess if they're gonna be playing in this tournament, I expect to see them sparingly, or if Coach Allen wants to experiment with different formations. Pero all in all, I expect to see the same faces that won the AFF Women's Championship for us. And siguro sa midfield naman, I think the only name na medyo missing for me, like when I saw her before, I think is Jessica Miklat, and I think Riley Bugay, but I think she's out injured, so she's not here. Sa forward core naman, this is a pretty solid lineup, a pretty solid choice of forwards. Serena, Kinley, Katrina, and Isabella. But uh I guess you can't ask for more with these four ladies. So all in all, I think I'm happy with the lineup. Yeah, I think they can put up a fight.
Thanks, Ed. So yeah, just to piggyback on what you said, I think in terms of the kumbaga, players like Maya, Reina, and Alicia Barker, wala pa silang kumbaga, baptism of fire, if you will. So if they will be used by Coach Allen, this would be, a really good time to see what they're capable of. And if they can compete with like really kumbaga, tougher opponents. Kasi like yung last camp, they only played against Papua New Guinea. So this is a different ball game now. So it'll be interesting to see how they match up. Going back. So we'll first meet Wales, currently 23rd in the world. They lost to Ireland 0-1 in the 2022 Pinatar Cup, but won against Scotland 3-1. They drew New Zealand in a friendly last year. In the UEFA playoffs, they won against Bosnia and Herzegovina 1-0 on extra time. A team, which we won against twice last year, 2-1 and 0-3. They've also faced Switzerland last year in October in that, heartbreaking game. But Switzerland only won after a goal in extra time, also like 120 something minute. So personally, I think Wales is not unbeatable. What do you guys think? You want to start, Ken?
Well, considering the ranking, Wales, there's a pattern, no, between how the players in the British Isles play. Seeing some Euro matches last year, um, they're quite they're quite calm, pero at the same time they can turn up the pace if needed to. Um, so considering na it's a very important match for us because they already went toe to toe with one of our group mates in the Women's World Cup in Switzerland, and they gave them one hell of a fight. before before losing at extra time. So for me, it will be a tough match, considering that Wales also a lot of experience there. You know, Hayley Ladd and Sophie Ingle, seeing them in the Women's Super League. So it will be a tricky opponent for us. Coach Allen will be probably pragmatic and will stick to a four lady backline. I mean, I never saw Coach Allen really put a um very conservative lineup on defense unless the Filipinas are going toe to toe like against a top 20 nation pataas. That's the pattern I see. We do employ five at the back against like Australia, Korea Republic, yeah, those kind of opponents. But against opponents like maybe if we face Wales or Scotland, or we uh the thing here is in the Women's World Cup, uh you have to make our own chances, because if we let our opponents just try to force the issue in us, walang mangyayari, mapapagod yung depensa natin. So for me, we will approach this Wales match and probably the Scotland match with more of try will defend well, but will also try to attack with intent. That's what I'm looking for. But Wales, a lot of experience. They have like a handful of players with 100 cups, more than 100 cups. So that experience, I mean, the chemistry there will be probably more than more than anything. It will be a very very hard, very tricky for us as well. How do we will match up against better sides who are experienced? So interesting first match.
Thank you, Kent. How about you, Sed?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna repeat what Kent said. Wales is full of experience. They've got like four centurions in their team, players with 100 caps. Pero I'm just gonna say this out of, my own opinion. Experience is just another term for old age. Eh. So the one thing we got going for us is youth. So ayun. So you can see that gaya nga ng sabi ni Kent, Sophie Ingle, Hayley Ladd, Rian Roberts. I'm looking at their defense right now. They all have like a 50 or more caps for Wales, and they're all playing in the Super League, in the English Super League. Pero I think physically, I think we can match up with these ladies, Karina especially. I think none of these ladies are above 5'8", 5'7". So I think Serena, if she uses her physicality, can have a field day with them. Like I said, uh Hayley Ladd is like what? Uh how old is she? 29. Sophie Ingles 31. And they've got like almost 5 years difference with her forward line. And I think Katrina and Kinley will give them a hard time with their pace. My only problem here siguro with Wales lineup is see their forward line, because their especially Helen Ward. Well, she's 36, but she scored like 44 goals for her country. So she's someone to look out for. Pero all in all, as seeing Wales lineup, they bought a pretty inexperienced squad for this tournament. They have a lot of ladies in their team with no caps as of yet. I think this is gonna be an experimental team for them. So if we are going to beat anyone in this tournament, I think it's going to be them. So I'm looking forward to the test that they're going to give. Pero ayun nga, siguro the one thing that we got going for us against them is uh yung youth nga natin compared to them. Pero I think it's gonna be an evenly matched game.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I think for a team that didn't qualify for the World Cup, I would think they would be fielding like maybe their youth or like new players and try to experiment. But hindi. They're still going all out. A lot of really good veteran players in the roster that they published. So yeah, thank you for your insights. So to me, like Kent said, it's just Fishlock. Some of the key players to watch out for. Definitely just Fishlock. Most cap player
Yeah.
experience is solid. She's like the Megan Rapinoe of Wales, if you
And she
will.
plays in the NWSL, so yeah,
Yes.
that's one thing going for her.
I'm a big fan of Raza Roberts, because I'm a big Liverpool fan. So definitely Raza in Sergio Holland. Of course, Sophie Ingle of Chelsea, also former Liverpool. So she's really good with the ball distribution, and her reading of the game is also good. She can score from behind. She can play midfield, defense. In Chelsea, she's a deep lying. She's either a deep lying center mid or a center back. Um, I think we just need to be well organized and compact. With the 4-4-2, I agree with what Kent said, and look to limit Wales' opportunities and create scoring chances or pressure them to make mistakes. We need to create room for our forwards to exploit. Can we win this? Yes, I think we can. And to me, momentum is important. That I think that's how we played. How we get this win, this great moment. It will provide us with more confidence coming into the next game, which is tougher. Any predictions from you, gentlemen? Who's brave enough, bo- bold,
Uh,
bolden enough to make a prediction?
if it goes well, I think we can squeeze out a 1-0 win. I
Yeah,
think if we line up with a 4-4-2 and a low block, we can hit them on the counter because, like I said, they don't have the legs to catch up with our ladies. Hopefully, I'm right, but my bold prediction is that a 1-0 win, and it's either Serena or Katrina who's gonna score. That's just for me.
yeah. I think I'll be conservative in saying we can win this 1-0. How about you, Ken? Are you bolden enough?
Yes, I'm bold enough. One nil or 2-1, I think. But my guts tell me it might be a draw. But considering that we have a more cohesive unit now, I think we can squeeze out a win.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's go to Scotland now, 25th in the world. You want to start this time? Said
Uh, Scotland is not as ano. I think they're younger. That's for sure. And most of their players are playing locally, playing in the SPL. So, and a lot of them are teammates at the club level. So that's one thing that's gonna be hard for us because the cohesion is there. I think if we're gonna watch out for any player, it's Claire Emsley, plays for Angel City. Plays for the top league in the world. And I think Marta Thomas, who's with Man United. I've seen some of her games through the so to Man United social media. I think she scored 6 goals this year, so not a bad return for her first year in the WSL. Um, uh, let's say this. I think I can't predict any scoreline against Scotland. I think I'm gonna leave it more to with Kent. I think he's more knowledgeable with them. So ayun, para sa akin yun lang. Yung danger man nga is I think is Claire, Marta, and possibly Erin Cuthbert of Chelsea.
thanks, Ed. Ken, go on.
Well, finally, it's in the dreams of some Filipinas players that they will play against Erin Cuthbert. Wish granted. I've watched Erin Cuthbert with Chelsea. You know, very good wide player. Um, very good dribbler as well. very versatile. Been a integral part of a midfield that include Ji Soyun and Sam Kerr. I mean, if you'll be able to play with those players, uh, one thing that amazes me about Erin is when I watch some Chelsea highlights, very good one-on-one. I mean, it's a concern for the Filipinas, for our fullbacks na I think they're yet to be tested against players who are very good technically in dribbling and can cut out wide spaces. Erin Cuthbert can provide that challenge to our fullbacks. So I'm really really excited on how they will do against her. Syempre parang dream into reality yung mangyayari. Then you have Kirsty Hanson, you have other their captain Rachel Corsi was a very good veteran, also played in the NWSL, so ang daming and Caroline Weir also, bago natin malimutan, also a former Liverpool and Manchester City veteran who's having a very good season so far with Real Madrid. So yun yung mga masasabi natin na talagang kailangan tutukan. So, against and they really have other as well, other potent players as well. So they just I think they lost in the most heartbreaking way possible against Ireland in Women's World Cup qualifying. Nadali sila sa counter. So, napanood ko yun, it has a slow-mo on how they lost. So that's a very heartbreaking way. Sa Hampden Park pa sila natalo. So, one thing about the Scotland team, very very good. I think kung forward line lang, it can compete with the best in Europe, you know. Midfield and forward wise, it can compete with the best in Europe. I don't really want I wouldn't want to make any predictions. I think this this forward and midfield lineup will be one of the most toughest that the Filipinas will face. The defense will work pretty hard on this match. So it will be something that they should I should look we should look forward to. So hard to predict. If we gotta squeeze out a draw from this match, I'll be glad.
Thank you, Kent. Yes, yes, I agree. I think amongst all the three teams, Scotland will be our toughest opponent. So just to piggyback on what Ken said, so yeah, they tend to play a fast, paced and attacking oriented game. Very quick in transitions and creating scoring opportunities from the midfield. Yun nga, so like what Ken said, ang pinaka ano talaga nila is ang threat talaga nila is sa forward and midfield. Um, I think they could very well be the Norway parallel for our World Cup. Given that, as I've said, I think they're the toughest uh team that we're going to go against in this tournament. Players to watch out for, sayang, Kim Little already retired. I'm a big fan of Kim Little. Love her, but wala na siya. So um thank you, Ken, for highlighting that Caroline Weir is a former Liverpool player. I love her passing ability, vision. She's really good with set pieces. I call her the Manchester Slayer after those Rockets against United in the WSL. Erin Cuthbert, must say, is a favorite of Chandler McDaniel. Very talented forward, known for her pace, finishing ability, and work rate. Like for me, para siyang ano eh. How do I say this? Uh, like a pocket-sized dynamite. Alam mo yun? She'll help defensively and then run up and down the field tirelessly. Then there's also Kirsty Hanson, as already mentioned by Ken, formerly United, now with Aston Villa. I'm not sure. I think Aston Villa. And like what you said, said Claire Emsley. I like her dribbling ability and crossing. Very, very threatening in pace, in terms of pace and creativity on the flank. So those are the um players to watch out for. It's like both of you gentlemen, it's hard to um it's hard to say what my prediction is. I'm just gonna say that I'll be happy with the draw. Of course, I'm hoping we can win this, but if we get a draw, I'm absolutely fine with that. But of course, a win is the goal. Um, right. So let's go to Iceland. Currently 16th in the world. Um, they're known for, I think they're a very disciplined team. They play a very well organized style of football, with strong emphasis on defense. They're very difficult to break down. Very compact. And again, organized, as I've said. In attack, they're also very good in direct plays. Because obviously they're known for their physicality, very imposing. So I expect this to be a very physical uh match. I would think it's kind of like us versus Australia. If I'm gonna look back with the any teams that we've played against, parang ganun. 'Cause they're a very physical bunch. Um, said, do you have any insights on this match?
Well, if we're gonna base their play on how their male counterparts play, because honestly, I have very little idea of them right now. Uh, yeah, it's gonna be physical. Most Scandinavian teams have no problem running with the ball, taking you on directly. And I think I know if I'm just gonna base on their lineup that they bought here for the Pinatar Cup, they brought a pretty good mix of experience and youth. Well, most of their team is below 30. I think the only person I think they have only like yeah, they only have 3 players over the age of 30 in this lineup. So they're pretty youthful and they're pretty lethal on goal. I think PSG's Berglin, Torvald's daughters, one of them, Gunhildur John's daughter. I hope I'm pronouncing their names properly. And West Ham's Dagny Bringer's daughter. So I think those are the players to watch out for. They've got a pretty good mix of experience and uh, a nose for a goal. I think basing on their caps and their goals for their national team and their club teams alone, the highest ranked team here for a reason. So I think it's gonna be as tough a game as any that the Filipinas will face. But I'm pretty I'm pretty okay with our chances against them, as long as we uh I don't think they're as lethal as Scotland is, even though they're gonna impose their physicality on you, but that's something that I think we can go head to head with against them. So I'm gonna trust Coach Allen, and I think we can at least eke a draw against them.
Thank you, Sad. Um, Mr. Kat Garcia.
I just we just had a big sigh of relief because their longtime captain, SBG, has already retired from international football before this tournament began.
Ayun, yun. She's already
Oo,
retired pala.
oo, 'di ba? She's the talisman of this squad. Very very good player. Played for Lyon if I'm not mistaken as well. Veteran. Before going to Juve. Uh so that's one less makahinga tayo ng maluwag onte. So pero ano yan despite that they still have a very experienced players still there. Like Glodis Vigosdottir for Bayern, you know. So probably she'll be taking more leadership duties there. Experienced players at the back. For Iceland, one thing that I've noticed, their forward line almost 5'8" and above. So it will present problems to our, let's not deny, 5'8", 5'9" forwards in women's international football. It's already a luxury. And you combine them with, experience on finishing and other stuff, um lately they have Svendi Jonsdottir, who's playing with Wolfsburg, only 21, very uh in the radar as a very good young footballer. Then they have Berglin Torvaldsdottir from Paris, who's also probably the most experienced forward that they brought there. So if we're gonna base it on their, defending, very good in defense, uh it will be intriguing to see if they will let us have the ball or we will let them dictate possession. But I prefer that for a twist, we try to play ourselves in possession. Just because I think if Coach Allen wants to build a very versatile squad, then we should focus on trying to also retain possession, do some proper build up. And we have the players for it. We have Cowart, we have Savitsky, we have Egespik, we have Serrano. So unlike early last year na we're like we don't have much options on trying to build up. Now we have very good options in midfield that we can rely on if we want to create something out of possession. So siguro sa sipag, yan dito magkakatalo, but physicality, lamang Iceland. I think, those defenders, I even saw some defenders 5'11", so that will present the challenge. Um I'm confident that we can put on a performance, very good performance against them. They're the highest ranked team. So, um but again, I will be happy for a draw. I'll happily settle for a draw to win against these kind of very like industrious, very high work rate Icelandic players would be an achievement for us. Probably we will see parang yan yung prototype ng most squads that will go into the Women's World Cup na hindi established. So it will be a good experience for us to try to play against a team that is much willing to defend and to hit us on the counter and set pieces. Kasi madalas tayo yung ganun. So what if magbaliktad? Ganon. Very interesting.
Thanks, Ken. So just to add to the players to watch out for. So yes, Glodis Vigosdottir. So she plays for Bayern. Very good at bringing the ball out the back, and she's actually one of the kumbaga success stories for Bayern this season. Ano yun eh, dati siya sa Rosengard, tapos Bayern played against them. She's a classic example of you played against us, so now we want you. So now she's with Bayern. And then like Kent already mentioned Svendis John Stuttier. So she's one of the kumbaga players to watch out for after her um performance in the recent Euros. Very young player. She's in Wolfsburg. She can play with both feet, but plays more with her left. She also played in Damallsvenskan, then Germany. And actually, Wolfsburg beat Chelsea and Bayern in getting her. So that only tells you how good and promising she is. And as mentioned by Seth, Dagny, uh, gosh, I really can't pronounce her last name. Brynjar's daughter. I'm so sorry. Dagny of West Ham. So she's one of the masasabi mo ng veterans for the team. So I think she would probably the one to lead the squad in the absence of SVG. But I think Iceland is our Switzerland parallel here. I think we just need to be, well organized and disciplined in defense. With what you said, Ken, I think we will have five ladies at the back because this is a very physically imposing team. Well, I don't know, but I think based on how we played before, usually that's how we go to match their intensity and prepare for a very physical game. It will be interesting uh, to see how we can unlock Iceland's defense. And we've talked about this, Ken, in previous episodes that we still need to work on our upfront battle. We need to be more clinical with our finishing. So I'm also excited at the same time how we're going to do, upfront. And the last two camps, Carly Freeless has been parang medyo spark plug, if you will. Versus before, I would think it's Bella Flanagan, but Carly Freeless has been used more often. So, again, we can't compete with the height and the physicality, but we can compete with our pace. And as said, also mentioned earlier, our our youth. Medyo bata-bata pa yung mga bata natin. So, kaya pa yan. We have the gas. Yun. What do you think about the fans saying that they're confident we can win this tournament? What are your personal expectations? Or what do you think is the goal of Coach Allen coming into this tournament? You want to start, Sed?
Siguro the only thing I can say is that the fans should temper their expectations because I think this tournament is a warm up. Like I said before, uh, like I said at the start of the show, this is gonna be a litmus test for most of the team. It's gonna be a way for the coaching staff to assess where they are currently when it comes to competing against higher ranked teams. Because aside from the World Cup, we're also the lowest ranked team to join here. We're also the most, we're also the least experienced. Because in our team, we don't even have anybody who's uh, we only have two players with more than 50 caps, Ina and Haley, and that tells something about how long these ladies have been playing together. They've been playing together for what, less than 3 years together, the core of this team, but they've had an insane 2022. So I have that alone, their performance alone last year gives me hope that they're gonna surprise a few people in this tournament. But like I said, temper your expectations so that we don't get disappointed. Kasi para sa akin, this is just a warm up. This is a chance for Coach Allen to experiment, to see what combination works against different types of players. Because like we discussed before, these teams in the Pinatar Cup, they're all composed of different play styles, different kind of players. Some are physical, some are technical. So I guess this is a chance for Coach Allen to see what works against a technical team, what works against a physical team, what formations he can use, stuff like that. So winning will be a bonus. What I'm after for is a good performance. To see the progress that we made, tangible, the eye test. Kung makikita natin if maganda yung nilalaro nila or what. Pero well, we're not coaches, we're just fans, pero ayun nga, para sa akin ang magiging success nitong Pinatar Cup is the way they conduct themselves against these higher ranked teams. Winning will be just a bonus. So, pero of course, we all want them to win because, like what Coach Allen said before, why are you playing if you don't want to win? What's the point? So, ayun. Pero, ayun nga, huwag kayo mag-expect masyado para hindi tayo ma-disappoint. Let's just enjoy the ride.
Thank you, Sed. That's very well said. I agree. Sir Ken, ano masasabi natin dyan?
Well, the fans need to look at the FIFA women's rankings first before we go on try to say now we're gonna win the tournament. The median ranking of our three opponents is 24.3. New Zealand is ranked 24. So I mean that's probably we're competing against the top 25% of the I mean
Of the world.
the
Charot.
world, oo, 'di ba? So parang it's been a very good 2022. The most dominating year for Philippine football, like any national team. The Filipinas went on a tear, but we got to calm down. We have to calm down because again, this will be a step up in quality. Almost all of the players in the squads that we will be facing, they either play in Europe or in the US, in the NWSL. And we have, while on our end, we still have players that are just recently got contracts with clubs in different parts of the world. I'm happy for them, but the experience of our opponents individually and as a team, medyo may ano pa, there's levels to that. I'm not saying that it's not really it's not we're not impossible they're not impossible to be beaten. I know that they can be beaten, but we have to temper expectations talaga. Kasi madali, pero these three nations that we faced, they have one common factor eh. They all went short in qualifying for the Women's World Cup. As in short lang talaga. As in yung Wales nalaglag sa playoff, Iceland provided good fight pero nalaglag sa qualification. Scotland went head to head with Ireland just to lose at the dying moments of the game. Same with Wales, 'di ba? So borderline Women's World Cup quality teams itong makaharap natin. So I think the fans should know it. The fans should and knowing na players like si Erin Cuthbert, dream lang makaharap ni Chandler, tas yun makakaharap na ng mga teammates niya, 'di ba? Parang there's na parang nandun pa rin sila kasi our play our players dream to face these kind of players. Nandun pa tayo sa kinakapapa natin kung how high can we possibly aim for heading into the Women's World Cup. Form wise and chemistry wise. So I just expect Coach Allen to try to tinker, especially sa defense. Maya Alcantara had an outstanding season with Georgetown, and compared to the height of our other defender, she's 5'10". I think Coach Allen will try to integrate her because we will have like more physically imposing forward lines in the Women's World Cup. So in the tournament, in this Pinatar Cup, if he can integrate Maya, it will be better. Then fine-tune the midfield. Ang laking ginhawa that we have Savitsky, Serrano, Egesvik on the same midfield. I mean, we're spoiled for options. Right? It's just a matter of how they will integrate each other. May Reyna Gabriel pa tayo. And for the forward line, yun, clinical. They have to be more clinical. And I expect that in these matches we won't get any much chances like we did again in the facing other opponents in Southeast Asia. So it will be a challenge for our forward line to be more economical, more efficient in attack whenever they get an opportunity, proper build up, making the correct pass, shooting at the proper opportunity. We get it. Sarina Bolden, very clinical last year, but it has to be aimed up in the level of clinical finishing that we need to see from her. Because nag-level up na din yung mga kalaban natin. So, it's gonna be interesting. Pero for the fans, kalma lang natin. Let's enjoy the ride. Let's enjoy every game. I'm sure nalalaban yung mga ladies natin, whatever result it is.
If I may add, no,
Yes, go
I
ahead.
think the team can put up a fight. Kasi, no offense to our local ladies, our ladies, our homegrown ladies, but most of our players came through the US youth system, and the US youth system is the best in the world. These girls have been playing against the level of opponents na number one in the world from the very first time they started playing football. So I guess that's one thing that's gonna be going for them. And most of them are playing in the NCAA, in the women's. It might not be professional, but it's leaps and bounds better than what we have here in Southeast Asia. And the physicality in the US, can be can help them with regards to the kinds of opponents that they're gonna be facing in the Pinatar Cup. There's the the British teams and the Scandinavian teams who are all well known for their physicality. Well, I don't think these teams are gonna give us a problem technically because siguro apart from a few players that they have, they're all gonna be trying to play direct against us, and I think we can go toe to toe with them physically because we've got age. Yun nga, sabi ko before kanina, I can't emphasize enough. We've got age going for us because they bought their centurions along for this tournament, and those ladies are all worn in the legs already. Plus, we've got a few players also that got big game experience here. Just like what Ken said, uh, Jacqueline Sawicki, Jacqueline Sawicki of Western United used to play for Canada. Canada's no slouch, and her playing for us is huge. Her switching allegiances to us is huge. Then we've got Tanay, who's she's got experience before playing in Scandinavia, so she's gonna be familiar with most of these Icelandic players because she plays there. So I think it's not gonna be. I don't think we're gonna get steamrolled. But I'm just gonna. I'm just saying na let's not expect the Filipinas to win every game. A draw against these kinds of these quality of opponent is already huge. And gaya ng sinabi natin kanina, we can't reiterate it enough. This is all for experience. This is all for preparation for the real thing, the World Cup. So whatever we gain here is just gonna help us along for the World Cup. Ayun. Thank you.
Thank you, said. Yeah, and also like what you said, no, and ano na to ibang level na to kumbaga no AFF, we won a lot of those matches through headers, 'di ba, yung mga set pieces natin. Pero ngayon hindi na uubra. I don't think uubra yung set pieces natin with the headers because but again, I really think we have good chances, but we have to keep in mind that this team is also coming from a long break. Although we have a really good 2022, I think January is the first time in many months now they didn't meet up and had a camp. So although they are now refueled after spending time with their families and their loved ones, they're coming into this tournament not at their peak fitness, physical or match wise. Again, we believe in our team, but we definitely have to temper our expectations. But we can definitely surprise these teams. Gaya nga ng sabi ni Sally na parang hindi kayo ma-disappoint. Kasi kung ano-ano na naman sasabihin nyo after, mas magagalit kayo, kaya sila.
Well, we have to take note na ano kung sa kotse to parang the Filipinas cleared first gear, second gear, third gear. Dito tayo sa fifth gear. Ganon. Parang
Okay.
we're trying to elevate the style of play heading into the sixth gear. Parang lahat ng team sa Women's World Cup naka sixth gear na. So parang kailangan i-fine tune pa lalo. So sana magets yun ng fans na parang doesn't mean that we're world beaters in the ASEAN level. We're gonna translate it immediately to higher level opponents. Nakalasing manalo.
Totoo yan.
Oo, nakalasing manalo pero kailangan din siguro natin ng ladies natin na parang to be the best, you have to go through the best. To be the best you can be, you got to beat the best in front of you. Ganun lang siya. And I hope the fans take it into heart. Kasi again, sabi nga ni Sed kanina, hindi naman ito yung big dance natin. Ang big dance natin ay sa New Zealand pa, sa Women's World Cup.
Sa kadagdag ko lang, if iisipin mo, yung players natin parang team din na ng US yan eh. These are ladies na hindi nabigyan ng chance sa US system. Yun. So, yung training nila, pag tinapat mo talaga sila dito sa Southeast Asia, they're head and shoulders above. Lalo na when we started recruiting heavily from the US system. So, thank you just for FC ulit sa US. So, yun kaya nasabi niyo kanina, what works here in ASEAN might not work against the Europeans kasi they're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. So dito, when we started really taking our recruitment seriously, taking our hiring Coach Staj and his system and letting them do as they please to implement their system. We've seen the we've seen them reap their efforts. Like 16 wins in a calendar year is nothing to sneeze about. So, ayun. Pero ayun nga, wag niyong i-expect for the fans na kung ano yung nakita niyong performance ng ladies natin sa ASEAN is gonna translate against the Europeans kasi different breed yun eh. Dito, gaya nga ng sabi niyo kanina, Ven, kaya natin silang kalabawin dito eh. Yun hindi natin kaya yun. Like Iceland, Scotland, Wales, they've got players above 5'10". Our tallest player is 5'8". 5'8", 5'9", or wait, no. Our
5'10" si
tallest
Maya.
player is Maya, 5'10". But she's inexperienced. She's got like what, 5 caps? So you're not gonna expect her to be thrown into the fire right away. So ayun. Siguro she's gonna be like a situational substitute or a game day decision ganon. It's gonna be Haley, Sophia, Eva, the Dominic, the usual back four. Yun ang ina-expect kong makita. And those ladies, no offense to them, they're gonna look like ah kids compared to some of these players that they're gonna be facing. That's just the truth of it. I mean, siguro growing up, they could have been, siguro nasanay sila growing up because, they've all been, most of them have been trained elsewhere, not here in the Philippines. So they're probably used to facing physically more imposing opponents. So let's just bank on that. Na maybe that previous experience can translate here. Pero ayun nga, ulitin ko lang ulit, wag niyong i-expect na yung performance natin sa ASEAN, yun din yung makikita niyo dito. Matuwa na kayo pag maganda yung nilaro ng ladies at makikita niyo yung progress nila. Kasi pag nag-expect kayo lang na mananalo tayo, iinisin niyo lang yung sarili niyo eh. Ang importante dito is ma-establish ni Coach Stadge yung cohesion, yung combinations niya. So lahat, this is all just preparation for the World Cup.
Thank you, Sed. I appreciate your honesty. Everything that you said. I mean, I think no, kasi ang sa akin kasi, ang marami kasing fans ngayon who are new to football, you know. So,
Yeah.
and then
Personally, I'm new to the women's game. Pero, as someone who's been following the men's game, sex lang naman nila, yung gender lang naman nila yung naiba. They
yes.
all play the same game, di ba?
Yeah, and ayun nga, since a lot of them are new to football, hindi, syempre, karamihan naman ng Pinoy, di ba, nasanay yan sa basketball na, yun, panalo mo lagi. Ano ba yan?
Yeah.
Kapag natalo, learning experience na naman yan or whatever, ganyan. But yeah, it is a learning experience for us in this case. We need the learning
Puro na lang tayo
experience.
trust the process. Pero,
Yeah.
gaya ng sabi namin ni Kent before doon sa show ko, yung mga Pilipino kasi, ang gusto nila, achievers.
Exactly.
So,
Winners, yeah.
naiintindihan ko eh. Gusto nila makita winners. So, kaya medyo in the dumps yung men's team natin ngayon kasi they haven't done anything tangible the past few years. And suddenly, the women's team has been steamrolling their opponents. Ganon. So, ngayon, they're the darling of sports in the Philippines. So, the expectations are high. Pero, ayun nga, wag yung ipapasan yung mundo dun sa mga players natin kasi ibang ibang level na to eh. Medyo level up na talaga to, like mga times 10 level up. I mean, dito yung malakas na nakakaharap natin dito sa ASEAN, Thailand lang talaga eh. Kasi the rest, their women's game is probably worse than ours. Yung level ng league nila, ganon. Siguro ang nakakalamang lang sa atin dito is Thailand and Myanmar. But the rest are like, I don't know, parang siguro mga pre-UFL days if i-compare mo sa men's team. Ganun yung nila eh, ganun yung state ng domestic leagues nila. Itong mga 'to, yung mga kalaban natin na yung mga leagues niyan, saka yung mga ano niyan, ang tagal na, saka the sport is really ingrained to them, eh. Ayun. So, ayun lang, wag lang kayong iiyak 'pag natatalo tayo, gano'n. Kasi masasaktan isip.
Eh,
Naalala ko rin yung sinabi ni ano, eh, sorry, to add, yung sinabi ni Pam dun sa isang podcast, ay dito sa isang episode ng na nagsisimula pa lang talaga tayo if we're looking at it. Nagsisimula pa lang. Hi, shout out to Pam. Naalala ko yung sinabi niya kasi na nagsisimula pa lang tayo talaga virtually. Kumbaga ano lang tayo, naging ahead of schedule yung ano natin, yung
Yun,
Women's World Cup
tama.
qualification natin.
nag-world tour kasi
Oo,
oo.
nag-world tour. At yung world tour natin, oo, 'di ba? Panis ang mga ibang girl group, Pilipinas nakapag-world tour, 'di ba? So parang if you look at the infrastructure, the youth pipeline, ano pa talaga, wala pa talaga compared dun sa, mga kapitbahay natin sa Asia na mga sinasabi nating benchmarks like Australia, Japan, even Thailand.
Yeah, medyo reliant
Oo.
pa rin tayo sa Diaspora FC nga, eh.
Oo. Tsaka yung if the fans already read the recent article by Ryan Phoenix about the tryouts ng Philippine under
Yeah.
17 and under 20
Mm.
sa Davao, ang sinabi ni Coach Allen dun is
Yes.
the fitness levels are way off para sa
Yeah.
standards na nire-require ng international game. The talent is there, the skill is there. Pero yung fitness levels na makukuha mo lang with proper
Malayo.
training, with a competitive league structure in
Kailangan
place,
kasi
wala
talaga
pa.
natin dito, parang sa men's game, kailangan natin dito ng ano, eh, yung liga or any event na year long.
Yep,
Kasi if katulad nung mga bucket tournaments lang, talagang yung fitness levels ng mga yan won't be up to snuff.
yep. So yun, yung sa fans lang kasi, ako personally, I'm looking beyond the 2023 cycle. I'm looking already din to 2027. I'm glad that we've recruited Kaya Yota, Chase Ying, 'yan, 'di ba? So for us sa fans, let's just enjoy the ride. There's a reason why sinasabi ng maraming fans na the Philippine Women's National Football Team is the most smoothly run national sports team recently, 'di ba? So parang let's just give the keys to the management and enjoy the ride. Hindi naman kasi tayo magiging successful last year and until this year if hindi nila alam yung ginagawa nila. So,
Tama,
enjoy na natin. Para tayong mga
indeed.
excited na tito at tita na nakikitang lumalaki yung yung pamangkin, gano'n.
Si
Ginawang
Jeff Jemmy
family
Trust.
oo, oo. Parang pinapanood lang natin sila lumaki. They'll
Yung
try to
Tito
be
Jeff we
better.
trust.
Oo, in Tito Jeff we trust and in Tito Allen and Tito Naz
Yeah,
we
Tito Jeff
trust.
and Tito Allen.
Oo. So, yun.
Saka
Enjoy na
yun.
natin, every step is parang tawag dun, ilang beses ko na sinasabi kay Ven na parang if sasabihin mo sa akin noong 2021 they will gonna make the 2023 Women's World Cup, tatawanan kita kasi hindi ko talaga iisiping totoo yun. Pero like we're here already. So parang what more can we
We're
ask for?
we're like
So
mga 8 years ahead of schedule, eh, 'no? Sa mga
ahead of
Yeah.
nangyayari
schedule,
ngayon.
oo. So many things are happening like didn't expect the sponsorships, di ko na muna i-mention yun. Alam nating lahat yun. So for the fans, lang tayo, enjoy lang natin bawat manood, kumain ng masarap, uminom ng masarap habang naglalaro. We deserve it. We
Oh,
deserve it. Oo.
speaking of, we have a watch party in Evolution for the Scotland game. So if you guys are available, I haven't posted it yet. So, yun. Punta kayo para mag-inom tayo.
Yan. Yeah.
Yeah. Tapos kasi, sorry, I just wanted to add,
Saan 'to,
yes,
saan 'to,
for
saan 'to?
Evolution sa Kalayaan, Poblacion.
Hmm.
So shout out to Tony. Siya yung um nag or organize ngayon. So hindi the problem is kasi ako ka ako kasi yung pumipigil sa kanya. Sabi ko, "Wag mo na i-announce, paano pag walang live stream?" Ganyan. So we found out na for Wales and Scotland, it will be shown through the BBC iPlayer. So yung evolution ata may access naman sila sa BBC iPlayer, I suppose. So ayun, so okay na. Ayan, speaking of Tony Bernardo. As of recording, siya ay nasa evolution ngayon at nag-ano, nag-ocular. Charot. So, moving forward to the social media questions. Meron pa pala. Sorry. Meron pa pala tayong social media questions. So, first question is from Bolivs Bolival. I would like the panel to answer the two burning questions I posted. Where will our goals come from? Especially name two players who they think will score a goal during the Pinatar Cup. Who should we partner with Sarah Egesvik in central midfield? Ken, you want to answer Boliv's question?
Okay, sure. Thank you for the question. Wow. And shout out to Sir Bolivs, ever hardworking admin of the Avante Filipinas group. Where will our goals from? I think specifically two players. I think it's gonna be Sarina, either Sarina or Kat. Why? Sarina should be the best of should be Sarina is looking forward to be in her best form. Kasi siya yung target striker sa gitna. Hindi magbabago 'yon unless wag naman sana mangyari unless she gets injured. Siya yung nandun sa harap. She will be the anchor of our forward line. So I plus she's having a very good start with Western Sydney got already a goal plus good playing time. So when it comes to form, maganda yung form lately ni Sarina, and I'm sure um she will be hard pressed to score a goal because it will boost her confidence that if she can score a goal against the likes of these opponents, it will only do good for her confidence. Tataas yan ng tataas. And Sarina, mabigyan mo lang siya ng proper service from the flanks, she will score. Ganun talaga. And Katrina Guiu, I think outside of our of Sarina, she is the most experienced offensive player we have. And I think Coach Allen will look to unleash her more. Kasi siya itong laging playing week in, week out with Pitea sa Sweden. So, I mean, the quality of that league. And imagine a player like Kat Guiu playing there week in, week out. I'm pretty sure na in coming into the Women's World Cup, we want someone like, kung sinasabi nga natin na for me, kung ang Scotland may Erin Cuthbert, tayo may Kat Guiu, yung kayang mag-take on sa mga kalaban, kayang mag-cut, kayang mag-curling finish. I'd like to see Coach Allen try to unleash her more in those situations. Yung parang game-changing na parang out of nothing, biglang tumira, goal, ganon. I think we'll see something na against the run of play. They will try to generate offense. Then, who should we partner with Sarah Egesvik? This is a tough question. Depends on the tactics actually. If this is a 4-4-2, you can't really expect Meryl to play alongside Sarah because first of all, Meryl is still inexperienced a bit, needs to integrate more. Second, Sarah is a progressive passing midfielder. We need someone like Jackie to partner her. Yung kayang mag-secure ng possession, kayang mag-ease ng pressure, kayang mag-dictate ng tempo, tsaka niya i-release yung bola kay Sarah. So Sarah can progress forward and make those chances. If we're playing a 3 midfield 3, doon papasok si Meryl. Kasi pwedeng maging parang defensive cover si Jackie sa likod, then silang dalawa interchange sila ni si Sarah and si Meryl. But considering Coach Allen, he'll try to go on a more reliable system that has served us good results in the past. Probably it's Jackie first. Probably. Unless we can see, though, kasi tayo di natin nakikita kung naman nangyayari sa training, to be honest. And unless Meryl in training can produce some of the intensity and the work rate ni Jackie. Though, ano kasi kay Meryl, she has very good physique. I think she can play Jackie's role. Pero Jackie has perfected that role since last year pa sa AFF. So, probably in a midfield 2, in a 4-4-2, Jackie will take the nod. Yun.
Thank you, Ken.
Grabe,
Very
coach
well.
pala. Di ako coach, pero nahihirapan na ako. Paano pa si Coach Allen?
Nasagot mo na. Hindi ko na dadagdagan kasi it's the same person but you were able to explain it very well. How about you, Seth? Hindi na natin kay Kent yun.
Ah, yun lang din yung sasabihin ko kasi, sa forwards, gonna be a toss-up of tatlo lang eh. Either si Kinley, si Sarina, or si Kat. Ayun nga. Tapos sa midfield, since wala naman yung usual starters natin before na si Riley sa si Jessica. So, ayun nga, depending on the situation. I think we can see Captain Tanay against Iceland since she's familiar with them, probably. And then if we want more security, gaya ng sabi nga ni Kent, so that Sarah can roam forward more to create chances. I think we're gonna see Jacqueline partnered there. Pero depending ano talaga yan, gaya nga ng sabi ni Kent, depending sa training, kung sinong performing well, depende sa sitwasyon, depende sa tactics na kailangan nila. So we can't really, decide right now.
Yeah,
I guess we have to wait for the first game to see how they perform.
yeah, and we can't tell who can score in the
Yeah, we can't
game.
tell. We're not the coaching staff.
And also, I feel like players like Golden and Aguirre will be heavily marked by these teams. I mean, these are very experienced teams. I'm sure they'll do their homework. I'm sure they will not underestimate us. Considering our performance in 2022. So I think there's a good chance that a goal may come from unmarked players
Midfield.
from the midfield.
Yeah.
I feel lang. Kasi, yun nga, feeling ko, Golden and Gio will be heavily marked. And like you both said, who should partner with Egg this week? I think it's Jackie. Hopefully, she's fit enough to play. She just recently played 90 minutes for the first time with Western United. So I'm sure she's coming into this camp full of confidence. Na she's been raring to go, and I think Coach Allen will definitely give her some playing time, whether 90 minutes or not. But very best to partner with Sarah Eggis because we've seen previously. Next question from Frank de A. Sa Philippines na makakalaban natin sa Pinatar Cup, sino sa tingin nyo ang pinakamasirap nating makakalaban? Oh, Tagalog ito. Ikalawang tanong. Ano ang pinakamagandang formation sa Pilipinas sa laban na ito? I think nasagot na ni Kent to, unless you want to elaborate more. But just to reiterate what I mentioned earlier, I think our strongest competition would be Scotland. I know Iceland is ranked higher, but I think we'll have a more difficult time with Scotland. How about you, Ken?
Well, I agree. Kasi kung ang babasihan natin ang pinakamahirap nating makakalaban, ang magiging barometer natin diyan ay yung makakapag-generate ng threat against us. Scotland 'yun. Kasi they have the likes of Caroline Weir, Erin Cuthbert. Those players, naglalaro sila sa mga pinakamahihirap na liga. Wow, tinagalog din. So, dahil sa pinakamahihirap na liga in women's football. Pinakamatataas ang level ng laro, 'di ba? So, parang the quality alone speaks a lot. They will give us a run for our money in defense. So, I'm sure like Hailey, Maya, Jess, Dom. I really kasi Dom is probably our best one-on-one defender, Dom Randall. So I think they will relish the challenge. Formation wise, I think again kung against Scotland, we might do a 5-3-2. And I won't be shocked if we do a 5-3-2.
Yeah, I agree.
because again, there's a lot of quality in the opposition. We saw it before in the 2022 Women's Asian Cup. Uh we have Hailey and tawag dun, Riley sa likod. I mean, better be safe, 'di ba? So parang Coach Allen doesn't really take any chances. So yun lang, I think I'm excited in that against that Scotland ano. Parang it will be a baptism of fire for our players. That's the closest thing I think to the like the intensity of a real Women's World Cup caliber opponent.
Yeah, and
Sobra.
like I said, I think Scotland will be the Norway parallel if we're just doing a comparison. Said, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Scotland. Tapos if formation, yeah, I agree with the 3-5-2. I think Staj is gonna give them the wings. He's gonna compress the middle kasi andun yung malalaki sa middle. So expect Erin and Carolyn to run rampant on the wings. So it's gonna be up to the central defenders and the ladies in the middle to deal with the crosses kasi we're probably gonna get bombarded with crosses against Scotland. So ayun, yun. That's my guess for now.
Good luck, girls. Char. And from Sarah Ariasep, what do you think will be our team's biggest challenge in Pinatar? Para namang quiz to. A, weather. B, team cohesion. C, larger physique of our opponents. D, others. Please specify.
Test.
I think nasagot na natin to kanina. I think it's gonna be the larger physique of the opponents. Kasi weather, I don't think so. Kasi most of these girls grew up elsewhere. Sanay na sila sa ganyang klaseng weather. Siguro if we're gonna rank dun sa pinagpipilian niya, larger physique ng opponents, tapos yung team cohesion kasi they haven't been together that long. Pero 2 years isn't, 2 years, I think 2 years is a long time na din. Weather is gonna be the least of their concern.
Ikaw, Ken.
Well, same. I mean, team
Others,
cohesion,
game fitness. Game fitness
team
siguro.
fitness yan.
Yeah,
So,
experience.
and experience din, oo. So, yung larger physique kasi again, in the Asian level, kung sa physique lang din, ang tanging ang ang tanging nagpapahirap lang talaga sa atin is Australia. I mean, we can go head to head with Japan sa totoo lang. Pero ang lamang ng Japan sa technical skill and football IQ. Pati rin China and Korea Republic, di ba? Pero sa Australia, like banging with Australia, parang they're the closest team doon sa mga kalaban natin sa Pinatar Cup. And we don't face those kind of type of teams often. So, expect natin na na it will be a test of physicality and durability for our Filipinas. Team cohesion, that's the last of my issues actually. Coach Allen has been doing a very phenomenal job of slowly integrating players, slowly reintegrating players after injury. Diyan siya magaling. Whether ano na yan, kumbaga list of the concerns na yan. And ito pa siguro yung kasi we've been playing on different surfaces. Like sa Chile and Costa Rica hindi maganda yung field. Tas dito sa Pilipinas they've been playing on on artificial turf. So since it's a international tournament, I mean panigurado maganda ang field conditions. So I think it will also contribute I hope it makes our Filipinas more comfortable. Kasi for me it also plays a part din. So yan.
All right, thank you. Next question from RD Rivera Bedro. Considering the names in the current Pinatar squad, what's this? Center back, fullback, blah, blah, blah. Pairing are you guys most looking forward to watching? I guess yung question. Siguro, regardless of
Yeah.
the position, which pairing are you guys most looking forward to watch? One start said.
I think I guess the center backs, Wait, is this just for the Philippines?
Yeah.
Kasi hindi niya in-specify if anong nation yung sinin excited players tayo makita eh.
Sige,
So,
if you want to mention someone from
ayun nga.
another team, that's also good.
Well, I guess for center backs, if it's gonna be for all players involved, I think si ah, si Hailey, si Dom. You know, I wanna see how they perform against these level of forwards. They haven't faced these kinds of forwards in Asia before. These kinds of, physique, technique, combination of that na klase wala dito yun eh. So, I'm gonna look forward to how they perform there. Fullbacks, siguro sa atin na din. I wanna see if, Eva's defending is better, ganun. How she's gonna deal with, the likes of Cuthbert and Weir. Yun, yung mga ganun, kung anong klaseng improvement meron siya. Central midfield, yan. I wanna see how Jacqueline and Sarah performs against siguro, sino ba? Who am I excited against? The other teams. Lahat sila walang tapon eh. So, lahat sila parang gusto ko makita paano magpe-perform yung ladies natin eh. Ayun. So, attacking midfield and forward, yeah, we only have like 4 names. So, the rest of the ladies, yeah, ayun. Gusto ko lang makita talaga kung anong level na tayo, anong standing na natin. If we can go toe-to-toe with them.
Thanks, Ed. Kent, you wanna answer it?
Siguro hindi lahat. Siguro magbibigay lang ng 3 na positions. Center back, this is probably the most deepest lineup that we had on our center back rotation. We have Hailey, we have Jess, we have Maya, we have Dom. So parang ako kasi I have a feeling na since Maya performed well in NCAA D1 play last year, it is giving her a big advantage heading into this camp. I mean, you can't discount a very good season playing in Georgetown, making it to the tournament. That's a big confidence booster for her. Plus yung height niya pa. So I really think na Coach Allen will try to integrate her more. Kasi if we're gonna face against like sides like Iceland, kakailanganin natin yung height niya to deal with the set pieces, to head out the crosses, 'di ba? So, yun. Pero ang hirap eh kasi Jess Cowart more experience as well and Hailey others. So, pero Coach Allen, we know him na despite of kung sino man yung sa experience, kung kahit experience ka pa, if you're good enough, you get in. Ganun siya. Then next na ina-anticipate ko is I'd love to yung forward rotation natin. Our forward rotation is very interchangeable. Si Kinley can play false 9 eh. 10, ganon. Si Kinley Bolden Sarina is the target player pero si Kinley siya yung nag-aabang ng mga ricochet, yung mga ganyan. Parang sabi mo nga kanina, Ven, you will expect goals from players who are unmarked. And kita naman natin si Kinley para siyang silent, smooth operator. Si QQ, di ba? For the pew pew, sabi niya, di ba? Yung parang Kinley should practice more on the trying to be at the right place at the right time. Pag yung mga hindi maaabot ni Sarina or made-deflect nung kalaban pero kaya niya nang itira, yun. And siguro Bella will try to more experience sa kanya when it comes to dealing against these kind of opponents. Kasi yung katulad sa Singapore last year, she was just running around the players. Pero yun. And the spark plug na si Carly. Si Carly nag-start siya sa wide eh. Pero Coach Allen has been playing her in the forward 2 recently, yung forward pairing. So off the bench, baka makita natin si Carly might score a goal. Ganon. And fullbacks. For me, not to be pero for me dun talaga kailangan may improvement. lately. Parang Eva and Malia, they are good moving forward, pero sa tingin ko dapat pa silang matesting in terms of defense. Good thing we have Alicia Barker and Reyna Bonta. Ang napansin ko kay Alicia, very good crosser. Si Reyna naman sobrang kalmado. Sobrang kalmado maglaro ni Reyna. Itong kay Malia tsaka kay si Sofia, I think injury concerns lately. Hopefully she's fully fit. Pero we're good going forward, pero against Erin Cuthbert, the likes of Erin Cuthbert, yung kailangan masubukan din sila defensively. Kasi 'di ba, Malia has been improving, pero parang ito na yung magiging more of an acid test nila if if they can handle it or not. Gano'n. Yung fullbacks natin, kailangan sila taas baba. They can provide two-way options on offense and defense. Yun ang for me dapat na tutukan dito sa Pinatar Cup.
All right. Thank you, Ken. So yun nga, this question kasi is like for all positions, which is basically the entire squad, and like what said. Yeah, siguro if I'm just gonna have to pick one that I'm really looking forward to watching, it will be how Maya, Parker, and Bonta can play in this against these tougher opponents. Kasi nga, like we talked about earlier, they're still parang practically untested pa. Kasi the games that they played in were versus, either lower ranked teams or, weaker opponents. So I would love for them to be tested so we can see how they fare. And Alamir's is Edon's question. Focus on key matchups in the first what? Okay, number one, his question is how are fullbacks must handle Iceland's wingers and who are the likeliest Filipinos to start in this position? So he's talking about Iceland. Who do you think will start against Iceland?
Um, sa akin, I'd like to see Alicia and Reina, start against against Iceland. Pero it's gonna be up to Stadge. Pero if Stadge is gonna play it safe, yeah, I'm gonna expect to see Eva and Malia. And hopefully they improve defensively kasi we know they're great going forward. Pero their defense, especially their one-on-one defense, leaves a lot to ask for. Ayun.
Ken, what do you think?
Well, same. Pero I think we might see Barker. For me kasi possibly na iakyat si Eva sa midfield. Kasi for me might be a spark plug there. So either Eva, Alicia or Malia there on the ganun. So yun for me. So how our fullbacks must handle Iceland swingers? Siguro more on na lang. Take note of the position of their positional play. Don't be siguro lang yan they should work as a unit more. I mean, you can't avoid one-on-ones pero kung if you know that you're in a very good structure, stick with it lang. Ganun. Learning
Ayun pala,
experience for our youngers. Si Malia wala pa yang I think wala pa siyang 23. So siya yung may pinakamalaking magiging na experience dito. So
I think she's 19, di ba?
Oo, di ba? So parang ganun. So it will be a tough challenge for them defensively. Pero I think kasi kaya rin pwedeng mag-start si Alicia kasi siya yung legit na talagang fullback from her Illinois day. So pwedeng yun ang
If
mangyari.
I may add pala, hindi ko nasagot yung if how are they gonna handle the wingers. Siguro cut out their crosses, you know, uh, push them to the byline, cut their crosses. Kasi if they start delivering crosses in the middle, uh, our center backs are gonna have a hard time dealing with these tall ladies. So ayun, cut their crosses, press their wingers when they have the ball, push them outside, or at least let them cut inside para they can't cross. Let them have their shot, ganun, from distance. Pero ayun, I think it's really gonna be how Eva or whoever plays there has to be on point. The concentration has to be on point the whole game. Kasi this is gonna be a one-on-one battle against Iceland's wingers.
Yeah, gotcha. Thank you. Yeah, and very direct kasi ang play ng Iceland, eh. Well, as far as I can, I've only seen like one or two matches of Iceland. So it's very direct. So I'm also expecting the 1v1s. His next question is, should Bolden start in matches versus European sides? Well, these are all European sides, which are really physical, or should the Quezada-Gilu tandem be given the role? What do you guys think?
Bolton should start. I mean, there's no reason that we should not put Sarina up front. I mean, it will give her the experience that she needs ahead of the World Cup. So it's a no-brainer. She should start. And with Quezada, with QQ and Kat, we should stick them in their most preferred positions. Play them to their strengths. Wala namang for me, walang kailangan ibahin unless like there's someone who's important in the lineup that is injured na kailangan mag-cover si ganito, at si ganyan. As long as we have a complete lineup, we should play to our players' strengths. And the strength of Kat is on the wing, creating opportunities or scoring from the wing. And then we have Kinley, who is a false nine, who is helping in link up play, delivering through balls to Bolden, and as well as yun nga, nag-aabang for opportunities herself. So I think it's still Bolden, Quezada up front, and Gio on the wing. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
I agree, 100%. 100%. I don't even need to answer this as Sinigot Many. Sinigot Many, Mr. Kent Garcia. Unless you have anything to add, Seth.
I Yeah, I agree. Kasi we don't have any other target forwards except Sarina. And the rest of our forwards' strengths is playing as second striker. So they're all gonna be playing through Sarina then. So if it's not broke, don't need to fix it.
Right. So, and his last question, this is clearly the toughest series of 3 games that the Filipinas will have played during their ascendancy. Will they pick up a point? To me, yes. I think we can definitely beat Scotland. Wales. Hopefully Scotland. But yeah,
Good loss.
Wales, we can beat Wales. Yeah.
we can beat Wales.
Bold prediction.
Very bolden, very
Yeah.
bolden prediction.
Very
Yes.
bold. Very bold in
Yeah.
prediction.
Yun. I think we're on the same page. So yeah, that's all the questions from social media. I guess any last message from you both? We can start with said just to close the episode.
Oh, yeah. So I just want to thank Ven for having me here. And siguro, I'm just gonna plug my show, Calle Adriatico Podcast. Do give it a listen. We talk about the men's team mostly. Uh, since me and my partner Zap are MLS fans, we talk about the US game a lot. So we talk about yung mga prospects natin na nandun. Pero basically, it's a football show. It's just not entirely focused on the local game. And it's mostly just us fans talking about what we think. So do give us a listen. We're on Spotify. We're in Google Podcast and Anchor. We sometimes have Kent there. So ayun, give us a listen. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you for joining us tonight. So again, please give Kali Adriatico a listen. It's not entirely about women's football, but they talk about the men's side of things mostly.
We started talking about the women's game as well.
I
So
know.
ayun. Yeah, it's a football show.
Yeah, it's a football show.
Thank you.
But yeah, but it's not like my show na like
Yeah,
really
it's
entirely focused on
ayun.
women's. So if you want the other side, please listen to Kali Adriatico podcast. And
If you
uh
want if you want unfiltered opinions, give us a listen.
oh
Thank
yeah,
you.
and if you want unfiltered opinions, yes, please give him a listen. Lover boy, Kent Garcia.
First of all, thank you for inviting me again, Ven. Thank you also to our sa all the fans that have sent the questions. And one thing I've noticed, more fans are coming in the last few weeks. More are learning about women's football, especially on social media. And um I think this is the first yung episode na it's been a year since we qualified for the Women's World Cup. So happy first anniversary. And we can only, at least that's an anniversary I can celebrate. So yeah. Pun intended.
Oh,
So
wow.
at least
Momentous occasion pala 'to.
momentous occasion.
Thanks
So
for
that
having me.
so 'di ba parang at least the interest in the women's game is growing. And siguro message na din for the Filipinas and to all those involved players, coaches. Good luck. We're all behind you and just enjoy every game. Kami as fans, we're at the end of the day, whatever you achieve, whatever the efforts that you put in, we already appreciate. Yun. Special shout out to Loyola FC. Yan. Coach Roxy, Coach Noel Marcaida, yan. Viva Loyola. So yeah. And to special shout out to Nemesis Football Academy, Coach Mick Agbayani. Yan. And to all football fans, kita-kits tayo sa Pinatar Cup. And dun sinabi ni Ven, yung watch party, I think, sa Abante Filipinas, they will, I mean, let us support our Filipinas. Let us link more as fans offline. Offline para we can form a network of football fans who love women's football. Yan, yun lang.
Happy anniversary. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, eh, hindi ko na tuloy alam sasabihin ko.
Wow,
Valentine's
1
Day,
year na pala.
magmamahalan ang mga mas mag-iigting ang pagmamahal natin sa women's football sa Pilipinas. Yan ang akin.
Football.
Yeah. Lover boy.
Okay, so just to close this out. So again, on paper, these are tough opponents, no? Like I always say, we've proven time and time again that we can beat these teams, and you really cannot tell until they're on the pitch. So there's an opportunity for the Filipinas to test themselves, to improve. We have different tournaments, different levels of opposition. It's a great time to be a fan of Filipinas. Well, not only Filipinas, but Philippine football in general. It's also a great time to be a player in this team. So good luck, ladies. Enjoy. Win the moments. We believe in you. I'll be a very happy fan if we win the game again against Wales and we draw the other teams. Happier if we win all three.